Sir.
Yeah, mine.
No.
You know who they look like in there? Clarence Davis.
Yeah.
That were all
In 2008, 3.7 million animals were euthanized. This was due to overcrowding of animal shelters alone. The problem has only gotten worse over the past 5 years. Adopting a pet from a shelter is essentially saving a pet's life. With so few shelters being no-kill, the majority of animals in shelters are forced to be euthanized merely due to. In 2008, 300.7 million animals were euthanized in shelters due to overcrowding alone. You may be asking yourself what makes me qualified to speak on this subject. Personally, in my 20 years of life, I've owned 11 animals. All have been rescue animals. I also volunteer at the local animal shelter from time to time. My 11 animals have been 6 dogs, 2 cats, 2 rabbits, and a gerbil. One of my rescues is this little guy right here, Gizmo, just like the little gremlin. And one of the others is this big old monstrosity right here, which is a Lhasa Apso mix, which is bizarrely larger than either breed. You may be asking yourself, well, yeah, there's a problem, but what can I do? Why do I need to listen to this and just be depressed? I'm going to tell you how being a responsible pet parent is better than being a pet owner, both for the health and well-being of your animal and your wallet. Each year, more and more animals end up at animal shelters for 3 simple facts. People are not responsible pet parents. They do not spay or neuter the pet, creating unwanted generations in the future. 2, people do not adopt animals from shelters. They do not lower the number of unwanted animals in this generation. And 3, people want a specific breed, which you can find at most animal shelters or one of a close enough. People create a demand for puppy mills and a lot. 3 simple reasons to generate the problem, 3 simple answers to have a solution for the problem. 1. Adopt animals from pet shelters. Decrease the number of unwanted pets in this generation. 2. Do not create future generations of unwanted pets. Spay or neuter your animals. 3. Do not buy from puppy mills. Do not buy from pet shops, that gets the animals from puppy. As you've been listening to me today, you probably have more questions than answers. Let me elaborate. Overcrowded shelters are generated due to 3 key facts. 1. People do not adopt the unwanted animals from the shelters of this generation. 2. They allow future generations of unwanted animals to be born because they do not spay or neuter the pets. 3. People create a market for specific breeds that generates puppy mills and a lot. Over 4.3 million animals are in shelters today. These overcrowded shelters euthanize 56% of the dogs, 71% of the cats. These numbers are due to the fact that only 15% of the dogs are reunited with the owner, while only 2% of the cats are reunited with the owners. Another reason is only 25% of the dogs out of the 4.3 million in shelters are adopted. 1 million out of 4. And only 24% of the cats are adopted out of that. These numbers were generated by the National Council Survey and the Humane Society. The only way to decrease the number of animals in shelters, and ultimately those who are euthanized each year, is for responsible pet parents to adopt out of shelters, adopt the unwanted animals before you promote puppy mills to breed new animals into the world. Responsible pet parents would spay or neuter the pets that they've adopted to prevent future generations of unwanted pets to be born. My 11 pets over the years all have been rescued. I've seen benefits from my pets than other pets I've seen which came from pet stores and most likely puppy mills. The first benefit that you see is to your wallet. When you buy a pet, you pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. When you adopt a pet, you have a $50 or less fee that generally includes the puppy shots or kitten shots and having the animal spayed or neutered. If the spay or neuter is not included within the first fees, you can have the animal spayed or neutered through the shelter for much less cost than you would at the vet's office. The next is the health of the animal. Purebred pets have a higher chance of having breed-specific genetic disorders. These genetic disorders generally come along from the close interbreeding of the parents. Shelter animals tend not to be purebred. They tend to be your classic Heinz 57, your mutt, your mixed breeds. Many of them have a dominant breed. I currently have a black lab mix which looks about purebred. I've also had a Dalmatian in the past that was a Dalmatian German Shepherd mix and looked for Dalmatian. Tend to the fact that mixed breeds tend to have parents with no lineage connection at all. They have less chance of attaining these breed-specific genetic disorders. In closing, I would like to go over what I said today before we leave. To summarize what this speech has been about is adopt, do not shop for your pet. Be a responsible pet parent, adopt from shelters, adopt the unwanted animals before you create a demand for more unwanted animals by generating the market for puppy mills. Also, spay or neuter your pets to prevent future generations of unwanted animals to come into the world. Ultimately, if you're planning on attaining a pet in the future, adopt from an animal shelter, adopt the unwanted pets before you generate a market for puppy mill and more unwanted pets. At the time of this speech, while I'm approximately